Igor Tregub.
Igor!
Igor is going to say a few words. Igor is on the steering committee of Berkeley Tenants Union as well, and active in so many things I can't even list them all. It would take all afternoon and evening. Thank you, Igor. Thanks for coming. What did you say? Or did?
I just... Okay. It's a little wet. That's why it's wet.
Can you hear me?
Not yet.
Maybe if I turn it on.
Yeah, there you go.
Hear me?
Yep.
All right. I'm going to start with a little chant. Is that all right?
Okay.
All right. When I say, who's got the power? You'll say, we got the power. And then I'll say, what kind of power? People power. You ready?
Okay.
Ready for this? Who's got the power?
We got the power.
What kind of power?
Power.
Who's got the power?
We got the power.
What kind of power?
People power.
That's right. That's right. You know, this is truly incredible. This is the end of the workday when you could be doing anything that has to be done. You are here, standing up for the tenants that are just as much a part of our beloved community as all of us are. And that is truly heartwarming to me. And it's heartwarming to me both as a Berkeley neighbor and as a UC alum. Now, I was proud of the public education that I got at the UC, but right now, I'll be real honest with you, frankly, I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed that the university is taking away beloved community from tenant households in our name and in the name of future students of the UC.
That's right.
I'm embarrassed that they're doing that after repeatedly student leaders, the ASUC, the Student Cooperative Association, and so many other leaders have told the UC, not in our name, not in our name. And yet, the UC has proceeded to not listen to community voices. Let me tell you this, for 3 years straight, on the rent board, every year the Daily Californian would put together a list of opinion pieces on the issue of student housing. And for 3 years straight, I would partner with a fellow housing advisory commissioner to write an op-ed about how it is incumbent on the UC to build more housing for students so that students can actually afford to live here. But there are so many other sites where the UC could do that, where they're not encroaching on the lives, literally, of our neighbors, when they're not upending the lives of our neighbors. So the UC decided, okay, you're telling us to build more housing, we're gonna build more beds of market rate, unaffordable for many students, unattainable for many, beds of housing. And not only are we going to do that, but the folks that are already here, we're gonna displace them. And that's not okay. You know what else I'm embarrassed about? When John and I were on the zoning board, we listened to the UC present on their long-range development plan. And we looked at them straight in the face and we said, students want to meet with you about this so they can make their dissatisfaction known. Why are you avoiding meeting with the community? And the UC said, message received. Thank you. We will take that under advisement. Well, what did they do? The next thing we know, the tenants living right here are getting eviction notices. You know what? Now the UC is using a PR machine to say what a wonderful offer this is for every tenant here to get that much money in return to pay for relocation. Well, let me tell you something. Having counseled and having seen so many stories of tenants being bought out, right? Many of them end up having to leave our beloved community because there's no other place that they can afford to live here. And what's worse, this is the destruction of a dozen units of rent-controlled housing. Exactly. It's atrocious because if the UC really wanted to be a good neighbor, they could still build housing. The neighbors support that. They just don't have to build housing on top of existing housing.
Right.
They can put it right next to it. Right?
They can put it anywhere. There's a BART train. I mean, like, students can come from anywhere. Yeah. It doesn't matter. That's right.
They can put it anywhere. That's right. Development without displacement. That is the key. That has always been the key. That is part of what the state of California law is based on. Unfortunately, the UC is exempt from state law, right? And let me tell you something. No matter how much money is being dangled under tenants that are already really stressed out because they've built up their community here, you cannot put a price on a human life. You cannot put a price on a tenancy. You cannot put a price on a community member.
That's right.
And that is why when this year the UC asked me for more money, however good the cause was, I sent them back a note saying, you stop displacing these tenants and I will give you some money as an alum. Deal? But because I'm not made of money, the UC did not take the deal. But together, we are a community. And as has been said, if a bunch of alumni and community members did the same thing, we could really start a movement.
Hell yeah.
If all of us continue to do our part, and the next thing that we do here, we're going to bring even more people, we can bring the UC to the table. The UC may be exempt from the tenant opportunity to purchase act that's being introduced tomorrow, but guess what? The only thing that's more powerful than big money are more people. That's all of you. And with all of you, we've got the power to stop this. We've got the power to ensure that this is a Berkeley that we can all call home.
Yes.
We've got the